you to please share this program with other people, because every month we talk about a different topic that all of us can, I think, pretty much resonate with. Don't you? What do you say? These are like topics we all.
And this particular topic was actually from the comments of last month's episode. So
that's one of the viewers, yes, one of the viewers asked that we should talk about that, and I think it was Marianne. So hopefully she'll join us tonight, and let's see what she's got to say. Okay, so we can jump right into this topic of integrity. And as always, Colleen, you have a definition for integrity.
I do.
Read that for us. Thank you.
I sure do. Okay. So, definition of integrity. Integrity is the quality of having strong ethical or moral principles and following them at all times, no matter who's watching. A person with integrity acts with honesty, honor, and truthfulness.
Okay.
That's a very broad definition.
Sure is. It sure is.
And one of the things that we talked about, and you alluded to already, is that integrity is there are very differing opinions about it. And that's why, thank you for putting that up there. I really want to hear what everyone thinks. And you talked about being provoked. I'm really interested in hearing how our viewers, how our audience sees this. So if you agree with us or disagree with us, or you have a comment, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
So before we start, I do want to say this, that before the show we were talking about this, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've never up to this very moment really thought about what that means. Integrity is different to each and every one of us. So we are all going to just talk about integrity as it means to each of us. And I just want to make sure that we say this out loud. The examples we are going to use are going to be examples from our own lives, and it's not to be taken offensively. Okay, just want to put that disclaimer out there that we are just using examples that we think can speak to you based on our own life experiences. Okay, so with that, Colleen, you gave us a definition as said by the dictionary for integrity. Yes. I'm going to start with Felicia. I'm going to ask Felicia what integrity means to her in her own life, I guess. Yeah, what does it mean to you?
I want to start with hello, everyone, again. You know what I find, ladies, and I hope I'm not alone in this. Every single topic we choose, and I start thinking, the week before, a couple of days before, trying to, I guess, prioritize my thoughts and look to get ideas of how I'm going to discuss this. And what really does it mean? Not by the dictionary, but what we do every day, what we think every day. So I find that in this process, in this past year, I think I've grown an inch or two in my awareness. Honestly, I'm finding I'm learning a lot. So I want to thank you both for being here with me and giving me this opportunity, but also our audience, people that are watching, thank you for being here. And honestly, even if you watch it afterwards, your comments are important and I appreciate them. And I find that right when I think I know something, somebody says something in a different fashion or way, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I never thought of it. Just like you, Dela, you said earlier, there are some things you didn't even think before just now. So going back to, I hope I didn't cross the line there. I felt that I want to share the fact that I'm learning so much. In the hope that I'm expressing myself truthfully such that I teach others what I know. So thanks for giving me that opportunity. So go back to integrity. To me, integrity is really what you think, how you act, and how you do things when no one is around, who you are and what you do when no one is looking, behind closed doors, when the lights are off. And I realized that it comes, for me personally, it comes to two words. and one is reputation, and the other one is character. Now, reputation, it has to do with what everybody thinks of you because of how you are in public. Now, character is who you are when you are alone, with God, with yourself. When you are alone, that's basically you realize what your character is. And I hope this will not offend anyone, but I thought of something, and it's to do with the life and times we live nowadays. And our society and our culture has somehow deferred to have as a primary focus an obsession with the appearance of how we look, one's image. And most often than not, whomever looks beautiful, it's also considered as being brighter, smarter, or being the best, which leaves the rest, as not being as good, basically. And we look through different lenses because of the society we live in, and we are thinking of the world's view being more important, right? So, for example, I don't know, how do I dress? Do I have money? How much money I make? How popular I am I famous? Do I have achievements? Do I have anything? How do people think of me? Even I myself, believe it or not, this obsession with having others liking me, and having to do with doing things. Did I say something wrong?
No, I said, oh, no.
Well, I felt that this appearance factor has affected me as well, and only until COVID hit, I realized few things. And look at half of our social media. It's filled with images and videos that portray that appearance factor. Now, because of the lockdown and my own personal challenges last year when the first lockdown happened, I turned to God more than any other time in my life, hoping that He can help me from the inside out. And I fell in love with the Bible more than ever because I've learned last year that God doesn't look at the appearance. He cares about you, your heart, and not your looks. And I came across the verse that actually says that in the Bible. It's Samuel 16:7, and it says that man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Now, to me, this means that we must keep our hearts pure and let go of any other need, because at the end of the day, when all is taken away from you, the money, the fame, you are locked down like the way we are now. What matters the most? And to me, love that comes from our inside. It doesn't come from the things that dress us up. I hope that answered the question.
Well, I'm sure as we go deeper into this conversation, it'll become more clearer. So thank you for that. That's your definition and your take on what integrity means, which is awesome. And so we're going to go to Colleen, and now I will ask you the same question, Colleen. But before we get Colleen's take on this, if you're watching this show right now and you are not commenting, we can't see you. So far, the people that have commented, I can see. It's Lisa Anna Palmer, and there's a Facebook user. I think her name is Emily because Lisa said hi to Emily. That's what I.
So Lisa and Emily are sisters and dear friends of mine. So
well, welcome on the show. And there's when you are on this post, if you have to allow StreamYard to show your name on the comments, and if you allow it, then we can see you. So either way, welcome on the show. Keep leaving us messages. And Lisa says, to your definition, Felicia, we need to take care more about the heart. That's what she says. And they say we love you, Call. Okay, here we go. Okay, Colleen, your turn.
So integrity. For me, integrity is about, I agree with you, it has to do with character, and it also has to do with trustworthiness. And I think that we often think of integrity in the business sense, but also obviously it applies in the personal world as well. So for me, it would be tied to being trustworthy and having good character, saying what you mean, backing it up, and treating people with kindness. And I agree with those aspects of Felicia's interpretation as well.
I love it. Short and sweet. Oh, Marianne is here. See, Marianne, you said integrity last month, and we jumped on it. We flew with it. There you go. What does integrity mean to you? And if you're watching this show right now, please send us your comment and let us know what integrity means to you and why you think it's important in your life, in your relationship. And later on, Marianne says, Dela! Later on, we also want to talk about how integrity is such a personal personal issue for each of us. Integrity is totally different. What makes me feel like I have integrity could be different than what you think, Colleen, what makes you have integrity. So what to me integrity means, just to I think reiterate what both of you said, really integrity to me means yes, am I being truthful, is what I'm. So I use the example of today's world because we're on camera so much. Am I the same person on camera and off camera? If my husband doesn't recognize me when I get off camera, then that to me means I don't have integrity. So that's what what integrity means to me. So being truthful and honest, being the same person that you are in private. And I think essentially you both said that. So what does Marianne say? Integrity is super important. It makes life easier, even though a lot of people think it's difficult. That's a very interesting point, right?
Yeah.
Is it difficult to live by integrity?
See, I think that when you live without integrity, it can be more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because if you're being a different person in different audiences, then there's so much that you have to remember. While if you're just genuinely yourself and kind and come from the heart, it's natural.
I agree. You're so right. You're so right. Okay. All right. So moving on. Okay. So I think let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it means for you. So what are some things that you would think that are necessary for a person, or not for a person, for you, Colleen? Okay. What does that mean to you really in your own personal life for you to look at a person and say, oh, that person has integrity?
Well,
we're not being judgy. We're just trying to really dig this. Okay?
Well, yeah, I believe that we should live without judgment. Everybody has their own story, and we have no right or no. It's not for us to decide how they should be doing their life. I did find, however, on a website called smartcompany.com in Australia, and it had the magnificent 7 aspects of integrity. Ooh. And would it be all right if I shared those with you?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm just going to put it over here so that I'm not looking down the whole time. Awesome. Okay, so number 1 was honesty, which we've all mentioned. And that's being truthful while being compassionate, right? So honesty doesn't necessarily mean blunt and being hurtful. It just means being truthful. And number 2, and write these down if you want to. Number 2 is about respect. Number 2 is giving the benefit of the doubt, and it's an opportunity to express oneself. So that is respect, showing respect. Number 3 is generating trust. And when I first saw that, I went like, isn't that honesty? But then the definition is demonstrating reliability and positive commitment. So acts speak louder than words, right? So actions speak louder than words. So that is generating trust. Pride, and then this one I was questioning as well, because I thought, well, pride can be very egoic and very selfish, right? But this is pride, meaning the healthy version, which grows from caring about other people's feelings, right? Being prideful about, being careful about how your behavior affects others. Responsibility, awareness, and caring for others. I think that's spot on. Keeping promises. And this one was from a business website. This smartcompany.com is specifically geared towards businesses. So keeping promises, right? When I used to work at the bank, if I say I'm going to email you with a response by the end of business tomorrow, I email you with a response by the end of business tomorrow, right? Like keeping promises is very important. And then number 7 is helping others. So, and the key thing with this one, which I thought was very interesting, was it said helping others who have demonstrated a desire to have help.
Oh, I like that. As opposed
right?
to,
So it's not necessarily helping people deciding that you need my help,
yes,
but helping you because you asked me for help.
Mm-hmm.
And those really spoke to me. So, Paula, what do you think? Sorry, Felicia. I apologize.
We responded too. Like, I'm like, okay, sure. Okay. It will take a while. I agree. I've experienced the same. Like, I'm introducing myself. Hi, I'm Paula, because for all these years I've used my first name, not my middle name. So thank you for remembering that. I like that, but I'm gonna come back to you, Colleen, because I think the question is, what does it mean to you? Forget about your research, right? It's wonderful to have that, because I think it does key in the factors, the important things that it's almost like a check-in points, if you may, of what you just read, which is wonderful. It's great to know. But to you, how would you explain integrity? What does, what's this word means to you?
Well, I think I said it, I mentioned it earlier, and I'm not sure if you're looking for something different. Okay. But for me, integrity is about being genuine, and as well as being kind without sacrificing, your morals or your, you know what I mean? Like being aware of how your actions affect other people. And then choosing how you want to be with people, and potentially choosing the consequences if they think if they think different from you. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Thanks for sharing. That's actually, that resonates with me a lot. So
there's a couple of comments too. Let's see here. Facebook user, I think that's
Emily.
Yes, Emily, thank you for that reminder. She says, integrity to me is caring enough for others that you show your true self to them. So integrity to me is caring enough for others that you show your true self to them.
Yes. So, and then Emily is the next comment as well about
keeping her word.
Yes.
So that's what I think these are all great examples. Let's see. Okay, so we're caught up. So okay, go ahead, continue, Felicia, and then I'll give you mine.
Absolutely. So back to me, integrity reminds me of another word called integration, which really means all parts the same. So for me personally, I come back to living from your heart. So it's living from your heart. meaning that you are now able to differentiate your thought process from division to unity, and work on your focus to be that of wholeness. And unlike what's happening in our world today, understand and feel the truth about your interconnectedness and realization that if one person suffers, we are all affected in some ways, even if in an indirect way, because perhaps we're not related firsthand with those people, right? So energetically, it's a connection between saying, for example, I heard a lot of people nowadays, including my own children, particularly the oldest, say, well, it's my life, it's my body, I do what I see right for me. And sure, let's say if you cheat on your wife or your husband, even if they don't know, it affects them and your children and their life forever. And perhaps family of family, a generation of generation, somehow it affects everyone. I'm just giving that as an example, and it's this element of energetically we are connected, even if we don't see it. And even looking at the world, what's happening in India or in USA, we may think that in Canada we're not affected, but we are. I guess the energy part should be a topic for another Thursday, I suppose. So let's go back to the integration. Sorry about that. I deviate sometimes.
Sometimes. No. I'm kidding.
So you know what? It's actually, okay. So integration for me is like the way we talk about how men, this is not going to be funny, I think, how men think versus women. So men have all these compartments. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept. And each and every one is locked in its own drawer with its own key. So, for example, if you speak or you approach a man regarding a subject, let's say like marriage, a man must get inside that drawer and talk of marriage and only marriage. That will not include the dinner plans tonight or tomorrow. That will not include the golf game that he's supposed to have tomorrow. As if his life is all these pieces of puzzles that aren't at all part of the whole. They live independently. Now with women, on the other hand, now it's a total opposite. Talk about the bath plan for tonight, and she will tell you all about the marriage, the work, the car, the kids, the politics, the laws, you name it. Because you see, for her, it's all the same. There are no keys, no compartments. Everything it's open and everything is connected and everything connects to the other thing. And how can you possibly just think about this and not that, right? So I come from really thinking that everything is into everything. I come back to that one. And you cannot have the piece of pie with cheese, let's say, that is marriage, and then the meat pie, which is your ex-wife or whomever, without one affecting the other. So I come back to what Colleen just said, or maybe you, that now I forget which one said, that, for example, if your wife calls and you say something, your ex calls and you say something else, now your mom calls and you say something completely different. So you change how you are with your mom and you go back. That's, to me, it's lack of integrity and authenticity, because you care so much more about what they think of you. So you acting differently without realizing that you aren't true to yourself, first of all. You're trying each time to appear like someone you are not, rather than who you are. So it's living life as interconnected with self and others. Wholeness, not divided into different compartments or different categories or parts, because everything is interconnected. And you want to be authentic. You want to be who you truly are. And if you are who you truly are, you are genuine. You are the same with everyone. It doesn't matter who they are. So I think you said it, Colleen, isn't it? About, I think we are talking about, how integrity has to do with being really honest and genuine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Colleen, you were going to say something?
Well, with Felicia's example, I was thinking that when you put the different interpretations or the different versions of yourself, it sounds like because in that situation, in your example, it was very much, it sounded like that person was trying to please the person they were speaking with. And while that might be, their intention is to not hurt their feelings or to not stress them or whatever their intentions were. But I think that by being untruthful lacks integrity. So, and that's the connection I made from that, from part of that story.
Well, thank you.
You know, there is a say, I read something somewhere, and it's sweet. It's short. It says something like, work for a cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Does it make sense? So
Those are good.
Work for a cause, not an applause. Live life to express, not to impress. I think that's connected here. It's pretty much it.
I like it. I like it. I think we should make a plaque of it and post it everywhere.
And Dela, what's your interpretation?
So I'm going to come back to that. Marianne says integrity is coupled with authenticity, and it shows great self-love and self-worth. And I love that, because that's kind of bringing it to my interpretation, which is really, if I live with integrity, I live in alignment with my own values. And I can only have clear values if I have gone through that whole journey of finding self-love and self-worth. If I keep my values front and center and they're really clear to me, and I live by them, then I have integrity, plain and simple. And so that's why it's so different for everybody, because different people have different values. And so that is why it's so important to remember. And I think that is my biggest takeaway from tonight's topic, is that who can say to another person if they are living by integrity or not? I think that is such a personal take. And if I think that I am living by integrity according to my own values, then who's to say otherwise?
Yeah.
What do you
May
think?
I speak to that, to your comment?
No. But yes, you can.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed or not.
Everybody else too, if you have a comment, put it in the chat for us to read. And of course you, and then Felicia, for sure.
Thank you. So when you said about values and self-love and self-worth, that really resonated with me, because there was a time where I found myself making choices that today I would be appalled at. And in that moment, I had very low self-worth and no self-love. And I allowed myself to be in situations that it would never happen today. Like, I'm a different person today. And that brings up a question that I think we talked about, is that if you have a lapse in integrity and make choices that maybe don't fit in the moral concepts of morality and ethics, is there any way, in your opinion, to get away from that, to get past that, to move forward from that, lapse in judgment for that period of time? And for me, it had 100% to do with self-love and lack of self-love. So is there any redemption, is my question.
Of course, there's always redemption. I mean, that's why it's called self-love, right? That is grace and self-compassion. I mean, we live and learn, and I can totally resonate with that. In the past, I've made choices and that I wouldn't make today. And this is what I'm going to say. When I made those choices, I also suffered from a low self-worth and practically no self-love, which meant that my values were totally blurry. Blurry. In fact, I don't think I even thought about values or boundaries or anything like that. So that's why today I feel like in order for me to live by integrity, I need to have those set of values that are very clear to me, and I know I live by values because I do have a self-worth now. I know my own worth, and I know my own love for me. And so of course I totally think that we need to accept ourselves, our past, and move on.
Yep.
Of
I learned a lot in that time period.
course, yeah.
And Felicia, what are your thoughts on redemption?
I believe that having being an integral person, having integrity doesn't make you perfect. And it doesn't mean that we cannot live in the past, and we cannot live in the present, in the future either. So the focus is really right now. Who am I right now? Mm-hmm. And the fact that you became aware of what you've done in the past that maybe you're not, proud of, or not honoring that which you were once back then, that in itself, it's a step forward towards a better, decision. We make choices in our life. And as we get older, we don't necessarily grow wiser unless we make a choice to learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that absolutely there is redemption. I believe in the power of forgiveness, and it starts with forgiving yourself. And I think we've had that topic, but I go back there because integrity demands that every area in your life is treated with the same intensity. Mm-hmm. So in other words, I promise myself that I'm going to have or put the same commitment of excellence in my marriage as in my career, in my parenting as in us making money, in the right motivation as I do in doing the right thing with myself and others. So do I make mistakes? Do I have sometimes moments when I lapse and I may be tempted to do something just because somebody else is not watching, or, absolutely. I'm not perfect, but I now have gotten to a point where I double check and I say, wait a minute. I can do what I want, absolutely, if no one is looking. But would my conscience be clean? Would I be able to sleep tonight if I do that? Yes, it's easy to do it because there are moments in life where you can do tons of things that are not right for your own benefit, but without considering, is that righteous? Is that right? How is that going to impact not me because I'm selfish, but the others? So I believe 100% forgive yourself, let the past be the past. With the knowledge you have now, you know better. And it doesn't mean tomorrow, just because we're speaking of integrity and we worked on it for the last whatever we've had. I've only worked the last couple of days because I've been busy to consider thinking and, analyzing my thoughts with this word and looking it up too. I believe it's making that choice that when you catch yourself, take a deep breath and say to yourself, is this right? I've learned that in the past, oh my gosh, I've done so many in my 20s. Don't even go there. I don't even want to.
We want to go there. So no, can we come back? I just want to take a break. Okay. We're going to take a break and hear from our program's sponsor, and we'll be right back. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back. just
So pretty.
And just to remind our viewers that if you have a business that you would like to advertise, definitely give us a shout, and we'll be happy to advertise your business for a nominal fee. So you can sponsor this great programming. Okay, so back to you, Felicia. You were I wanted you to continue, but I want to also go back to the comments for a moment and see what is here. Lisa says redemption is an important part of our healing and growth journey. So I'm really happy that we brought this up, because this is one of those things that, you know, I really didn't think we were going to go here, but we're here now. So Marianne says, love to sponsor. Thank you. Okay. All right. So Felicia, go back to your 20s. Let's hear.
I think she was saying she doesn't want to go back to her.
No. I'm not going back to my 20s, but I go back to my Bible. It says this, that a gossip cannot be trusted with a secret, but someone of integrity won't violate the confidence. So honestly, we do need more women and men who know how to keep a secret. And I've witnessed people that say that they are your friends, and then the next thing you know, they post something on social media that it's about you that you've asked not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't know anyone like that who would do such a thing.
I don't.
Terrible.
You don't? Lucky you then.
Honestly. No, like that is just, in my book, that is one of those things. Okay, I don't care who you are. If if someone's telling you a secret because it's first of all, they shouldn't even tell you their secret, because once it's out, it's not a secret anymore. But if you have promised to keep a secret, I mean, this is one of those very, very fundamental values of my life. You keep that secret, girl.
For whom, right? We
that's more girl code than it is integrity, though.
Man, I tell you, no, it's human code.
Should be a human code, common sense code.
Yes, honestly,
there is such thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things in our discussions that came up, and I'd like to kind of bring up, if that's okay, is the idea that everyone has their own interpretation of what integrity is.
Yeah.
And in different parts of the world, certain things might be acceptable or unacceptable, and might be viewed in a different way. So
give us some examples, Colleen.
Well, we were talking about.
You were talking about something.
I know. I was talking about. So a thought just popped to my head that is inappropriate to share, but but we were talking about. So, for example, in Ontario, we're in Ontario, Canada, and technically, it is legal to be topless for a woman to be topless in Ontario. So whether it's at a beach or whether it's in your backyard or whatever, it's not considered indecent. It is a legal right, which I don't know a single person who has ever, decided to take, to take that up and express their right to do that. But in other parts of the world, that would be, I mean, you tell me, like, there's places in the world where you could be arrested, that you could, you know what I mean? That you could be there at a time, you could be stoned. I don't know if that's still a thing, but
that's still a thing.
Is it still a thing?
That's still a thing.
Wow. Yeah. But so when we're talking about morals and ethics and stuff like that, there are certain things that can be cultural. And I thought that we were, it might be an interesting thing to bring up. It
absolutely is. Yeah. And that's why it's so important to remember that, we can't go around dubbing people as, oh, this person has integrity and this person doesn't have integrity,
right?
Because it's so personal. Marianne says topless on the beach is regular business in Europe. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So do you see a topless person in Ontario on the beach in Wasaga Beach and say, oh, she doesn't have integrity? No, it's because that's not for me to say, right? It's not for me to say. What's your take on this, Felicia?
Well, I honestly don't know what to say, because it's knowing the law, right? If we look around, the Canada is one of the most multicultural country in the world, and even though we have people from all around the world, it doesn't mean that what applies in Iran applies in Toronto, or doesn't mean that what applies in I don't know, Italy, it applies in Toronto, right? We are people from all over the world, but there are some rules and laws that we must obey here in Canada. So we must work on this. The same word I was used earlier, I'm going to use it here. It's integration and unity, and understand that it's really a preference. When it comes to your example, Colleen, it's not really how can you. First of all, I believe there is no need to judge or criticize. It's need to know yourself, know what you like, what you don't like, know your values and principles. And if you see something you don't like, you don't have to look, you don't have to say anything. You just have to let it be. As long as it's not like an act like topless, for example, on the beach, if the law says that you can, right? You have two options: be miserable and be angry and judge and criticize the person, or walk by and smile and keep on going. Hopefully she has good breasts, to look at.
Somebody commented.
I'm speechless.
I'm sorry. So I used the playful thing about the law in Ontario, but there are more serious things, right? Where in some cultures it might be completely acceptable for a man to strike his wife, right? While in other cultures that's unacceptable. And we talked about how, when we were talking about the different things, is that Dela, you asked the question about how would I deal with somebody who has a different view than me. And I gave the example of, if I had a client or a follower or something that didn't believe in LGBTQ rights, I would be comfortable not having them in my circle if they felt that they couldn't be around me because I support people of the LGBTQ community. Do you know what I mean? So I did the playful thing, talking about something about, the topless, but there are some, human rights ideas or that we could differ on. And for me, integrity is accepting and loving everybody, and for somebody else, they might completely, reject a person for who they love, or you know what I mean, or like there's that's an example. There's so many other examples of what they could make a judgment based on their rules of integrity or their interpretation of integrity.
Yeah. Again, your values, right? It's your values.
Thank you. Yes.
And you we keep going back to that because it's your values, and you live by those values, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If they don't like to be in your space, you're totally comfortable with that. You're not going to change your views on this just based on somebody else's judgment, which is really important. And that's integrity, because you're sticking to your values. And now I do want to go back to Felicia, because I think I'm now starting to understand where she's coming from when she's talking about integration and that wholeness being a part of this bigger whole. Is that, yes, we all have our values, but part of living with integrity is that our values affect so much more than just us.
Mhm.
And so I get that. I think I now understand where you're coming from, and I totally agree. But again, do we penalize someone who is more selfish and their values has to do with their own self? I'm going to do this because I want to. I'm going to listen to loud music because I want to. I'm going to walk around without, topless. I don't care who's here. I don't care if the kids are here. Regardless. I'm going to curse in public because I want to, and that's my value. I am going to be authentic, and that's my integrity. So how do we do that? How do we watch ourselves so that we don't penalize people based on their set values, with our judgment, with our criticism, with wanting to change them? This is really a fine line, I find.
Absolutely. I hear you and I agree with you. And the truth lies in, we can't change people.
Mhm.
We just can't. The only person you can possibly transform is yourself. So I believe that by working on yourself, understanding your core values, and being true to yourself at all times, or as much as you can, right? Because again, we're not perfect. Then as I said earlier, we are interconnected. So your transformation is going to affect, it's like a ripple effect. First is your closer people, close in your proximity, close. But remember, energetically, we are all interconnected at all times. So your transformation will impede upon my own transformation, even by not knowing what you are studying or what you're working on, what you're working for. So what if we were to think of the world differently? Let's imagine this, okay? The world, it's a big, huge boat, okay? And we all lived in the same boat. And so with each one of us that does something wrong, that sins, that's something that is not thinking of, it's selfish and is doing things just because, I'm on my own, I can do whatever I want. Who are you to tell me otherwise, right? So let's imagine that each time we are inconsiderate, we are selfish, we are, angry and mad and rude and hurtful towards other people. Each time that happens, hypothetically, this boat gets a dent. And that dent becomes a little hole. And that little hole creates another hole, or gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, remember, we are in a boat. What happens if we have a hole in a boat? We'll sink. So we often think that we are not in all this together. But the truth is we are at all times. But it's so... it's not like a black and white. It's not tangible. Some of the things we experience in life are not tangible. Like, it's just the way it blows my mind when I hear you, what you're saying, and I agree, but it just comes down to that. There is no need for judging others. There is no need to say, I'm right, you're wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right anyhow. But there is a need to introspectively look at yourself. And it comes down to even, Colleen, we were talking earlier, like you said, keep your promises. That's absolutely, that shows integrity. You promise something and you do something else. Excuse me, it doesn't matter who you are, you get affected by that. Or pay your bills. If you don't pay your bills, there is a penalty. That's a good one for you. Refuse to gossip and talk about people and what they do and what they are and who are you to discuss that? Mind your own
secrets.
Dela, I'm getting an impression that you have some secrets.
I'm a fault.
It's coming down, like, what? Another thing, I'll give you an example of work, like business ethics, like business integrity. Some people only work hard when the boss is around.
Yeah.
playing solitaire or watching something else on the computer, coming in late, or taking more breaks than are provided, as long as nobody notices.
Yeah.
Like, again, I come back to the Bible because there's my book that I go to, but it says a lazy employee is as destructive as a saboteur. How about that one? I was like, what? It's true. Right? Be true to yourself, but also honor the people that are around you. But it comes down to that self-love, Dela, because and self-worth, and forgiving yourself for all the wrongdoings. Because the truth is, every single day we may have a thought or two that is not really in line with integrity. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we have to act on it, right? Again, it's working on yourself, becoming aware. And Colleen, a thought came to mind that when you were asking about redemption, and what about those times when you fall off the rail, if you may. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who said it, but something to do with the confession of your bad work being the beginning of your good work. Yeah.
If you're ever gonna confess to me, because I'm gonna keep your secret.
It's safe.
Secret's safe with me. So we are at the end of our show almost, but I do want to give us a few more minutes. Okay, so what else? So you gave us some really good points, because I do want to go back to this, and these are some great points to think about. What you talked about, like working even when your boss is not looking, or we talked about keeping secrets and
promises,
keeping your promise. Yeah, keeping your promises.
Paying your bills.
Paying your bills. Yes. What else?
Be real with yourself and others. Be genuine, honest. Don't pretend. Don't play games. Be the same with everyone.
Yes. Right? Yes. Be the same on camera and off camera, except minus the clothes and the makeup, because nobody wants to watch, a show with slobby women on it. But I just wanted to put that up. Other than that, be yourself. This is good. Be yourself. Okay, what else?
On the flip side of that, I think it's also important that we need to trust the people around us and give them the benefit of the doubt. Where I'm coming from that is that sometimes there are, even though I may be acting with integrity, there might be somebody that's coming towards me that doesn't know me yet, right? And doesn't know that I say what I mean, and I do what I say, right? And if that person is questioning, or in the work environment, micromanaging, and you know what I mean? Like, if they're not, I think that trusting the people around you helps them with their integrity, because people rise to the level to our expectations.
I love that. I think that's so good. Such a good point. Colleen, Emily wants you to send her the 7 points.
I will put it right in the chat.
That would be awesome. Yes, for everyone to use. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Felicia, you were going to say something?
Yeah. Go back to the Bible, but it says, righteous person lives on the basis of his integrity. Blessed are his children after he is gone. So that brought me back to what you just said. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Check yourself out, like really checking in, and say to yourself, when I'm gone, does my money make a difference in the world? Does my trophies, does my, I don't know, whatever it is that you accumulated throughout the life, or how I spend time with others, my relationship with the others, and how I made them feel, how I've genuinely loving and accepting them for whom they are, with their good, bad, and ugly moments. That is what remains, because the truth is, the work you do right now will be replaced by somebody. Somebody else will do your work. Basically, your money will be spent, by those whom you left it to, and one day will be gone. Right? The trophies you win will be at at the corner trash, the next garbage take, But the integrity, your character, will live in others by transforming their own life. And as a parent, I'm constantly checking myself and thinking to myself, is this something that I want my children to do? Is this something that I want my children to learn from me? Mm-hmm. I always check in even with them and say, if you had, I believe in God. So it's easy for me to say that, if God will be beside me right now, would I still do this? Would I still talk like this? Would I still act like this? Would I still whatever like this? And it doesn't have to be God, but think maybe introspectively, try to think or imagine someone that is greater than you. If you don't have to be a believer like me, but there has to be something that you honor. And your question, like it's easy to just check in and say, wow, would I do this? Like the thought came, okay, maybe I reacted because I got angry and mad. But then you can always turn back and say, I'm really sorry, I really blown this one out of proportion. I've done the wrong thing.
I like that. When you were speaking, it made me think, lead by example.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Yeah. Lead by example.
The character, your love, your true love, and being honest and genuine to others is what lasts forever, even beyond time. Because people you talk to, your children, your family will always remember who you are, will always remember, and then that will carry on generation after generation after generation.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Thank you. Okay, we're out of time officially. So I really enjoyed this topic, you girls. I did. And I know that we could talk about this for a very long time. I mean, we could always talk about everything for a very long time, but we only have 1 hour. So we're going to call it a night. And we're going to have our next show third Thursday in May, which is
the 20th.
The 20th of May. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you. I had just thought about a perfect topic to talk about, and I pulled it out of something Felicia said, but I'm not going to share right now.
I was looking forward.
The suspense.
The suspense. If our viewers have something in mind that they want us to talk about on our next show, please let us know, and we'll consider it. But I think we're going to go with what I thought. I think you're going to like it very much. So, all right. So it's time for us to leave. Please share this talk with other people. If you found it beneficial, chances are others will too. And you just never know, because you might have heard something today and you thought about someone, and this could be your way of helping them. So
if they asked for it.
Yeah, if they ask for it, yes. So we're all just trying our best to grow and learn and be better people. And it's, things like this, talks like this, that are really just implementing positivity and growth. And I know it's just from the heart, and we're all here just doing that, and hopefully you enjoyed it too. So okay, are we ready to say goodbye?
Yes, we are. So okay. This is a butterfly effect, bringing you love,
hope,
and compassion.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all our viewers for your comments, and until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.